Welcome to the TruCoach Podcast, where you'll find industry-specific, actionable methods to help you build a supercharged home improvement or home services business. From leads to leadership, we exist to help you and your team successfully grow. TruCoach is your single source of truth for organizations looking to scale. Brought to you by TruVolve. You'll get exclusive access to leaders who have been there and done that, and the wisdom that only comes from experience. Proven strategies for you and your team to implement.
Hi, my friends. Brian Gottlieb here with another great episode of TruCoach. And today we're joined by somebody that's terrific. Her name is Senja Spelman. Senja, thanks so much for joining us.
Brian, thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know you, maybe you can give a little bit of your background.
Yeah. Well, I feel so fortunate that my background involves you very heavily. And I don't think that I would be here if it wasn't for meeting you and meeting all of my amazing mentors that I had along the way at Tundraland. I have come from performance marketing. I always worked in performance marketing. Everything that I did before I met you guys at Tundraland was still filling seats. So it was a really natural transition when I went from disaster restoration to home improvement. We spent a good year and a half together at Tundraland before we had the acquisition with Leaf. And then Amy Zimmerman, one of my really dear friends, and I consider her my greatest mentor, and I had the opportunity to work together at Leaf Home for another year and a half, managing the 7 different acquisitions that they had in the home improvement belt. I decided that I wanted to have a little bit more ownership over the process, so I accepted a role at Bathworks, which is a jacuzzi bathroom model dealer in the Grand Rapids area. So I was CMO there and helped lead and scale that company over the course of just over a year. Then I accepted a role at Home Genius Exteriors, doing all of my favorite things, which is TV, PR, and digital marketing, but felt the calling, as some entrepreneurs do, to kind of take ownership and autonomy over what I'm doing and what I'm building. And I felt so grateful that they were incredibly supportive when I said, hey, I think I need to do something on my own and see if I can help business owners in home improvement. So now here I am, just over a year in, and I love what I do. I help folks that want to scale their home improvement businesses. I help them generate more leads and take ownership over their marketing mix.
Yeah. And I really totally look forward to getting into that conversation with you. Yeah. You're on for another reason too, because for those of you that don't know, Baths for the Brave is near and dear to all of our hearts, and where we surprise veterans with free bath projects. And Senja has really been helping this year and last year, bringing Baths for the Brave to more and more contractors across the country that want to participate. And that's what we want to talk to you about. It's an invitation. We want to fill in on what Baths for the Brave is, invite you to see if you want to participate this year. Senja is your point of contact on this. She's really, really doing a great job bringing things together. And so Senja, how fun is Baths for the Brave?
Oh my gosh, it's my favorite time of the year. I feel like as soon as it's done, I'm already planning for the next year. And not only because we all get to come together as a team in individual companies and really have everyone inside your entire organization be involved, but also because you see the effects reverberate throughout just the veteran. You see their family feels so much support and gratitude. You see community members come out, and there really is this sense of family, of community that stays with you for a really long time, at least until the next year.
Yeah, it's terrific. So Baths for the Brave, if you're not familiar with it, once a year, we surprise veterans with free shower systems, veterans that struggle with mobility issues, veterans that have a bathtub that is in their home and they're afraid to step over it because it's dangerous. And we all think that's simply unacceptable. So our way of giving back is by surprising these veterans, by taking out that old bathtub, putting in a beautiful, safer shower for them, and doing it all for free. And it's not a nonprofit. It's a movement where we all participate across the country in surprising veterans just in time for Veterans Day, all at the same time with free, safer shower systems. That's kind of what the program is, right? Would you say that's a good summary of it?
Yeah, I love that. I think you phrased it so well when you said it's not a nonprofit. It's really all of us coming together to support one another and make sure that we have all the resources and all of the know-how to do what we do best, which is install great bathrooms for deserving people.
Yeah, and that's really where you step in, which we're going to cover in a minute, because sometimes it's like, well, I want to do it, but I don't know where to start. You've really done a great job creating SOPs and all that sort of thing to really help these contractors get up and rolling with Baths for the Brave. And look, our goal is very simple, right? It's 50 states this year. That's our goal. How can we get in all 50 states? Last year, I think we were in 20 some odd states. So far, we've done. I think it's a staggering number. It's hundreds of veterans across the country have received free shower systems. We've been doing this for years, and each time it's a special year, isn't it?
It really is. And I think that the way that we're organizing it this year is really to make it accessible for anyone, any size, any revenue size. I think a lot of people in home improvement, they want to do something more, something philanthropic, but they feel like their hands are tied behind their back because they say, well, I only did $1 million in revenue this last year. I don't think I have the resources to support this. So we are the ones to navigate that, fill the gap, give you all of the best practices. So all you really have to do is install a great product.
Yeah, it's once we did one, it changed the way I thought about business. I remember the first veteran we surprised, and again, we never did this before, and it was probably 2014 or 15. It was a long time ago. It was this gentleman. His name was Mike Alstein. He lived in Wisconsin, lived in Green Bay. He did a couple of tours in Iraq. He was diagnosed with MS. Came home from Iraq, and like that, bam, he was in a wheelchair. And we heard about his story, and we actually worked with his mom, and we had Mike enter a sweepstakes, except it was a fake sweepstakes, and he was the only entry. So surprise, he won. And the sweepstakes giveaway was for a day at Lambeau Field and a night at a local hockey game. So he wins this sweepstakes. He goes to the football stadium, and then he goes to the hockey game, and we wheel him out on the ice to thank him for his service, and he doesn't even know who I am. And we're out on the ice with him. He's in his wheelchair, and we point to the Jumbotron, and we show how when he left his home to go to Lambeau Field, our guys snuck into his house, totally crashed his bathroom, and made it handicap accessible. And it was this feeling of joy that to make such a significant positive impact in the life of somebody who was deserving and really needed it. And the whole idea of Baths for the Brave is, how do we do that at scale? Yeah. And like, you've participated in how many of these bath crashes? A lot of them, huh?
Yeah, this will be my 6th year participating in Baths for the Brave bath crash. So, and each story touches your heart and stays with you in different ways, because exactly like you mentioned, Brian, this gentleman had an ailment that didn't allow him to feel comfortable in the bath, which, as you say, is unacceptable for any of our veterans. Yeah. But one that really sticks with me is the gentleman that we helped in Green Bay. Actually, it was after our acquisition at Tundraland, and his wife had tragically passed away a few years prior from brain cancer, leaving behind 3 young children. And when I saw that, I saw so much of myself and my brothers, of just thinking, if it was just 3 of us with my dad, I don't know how we could have functioned. And not only did we do 2 of the bath crashes in their home just to give them some type of good feeling and joy and hope, but we also, because you provided a donation to these boys to start their college fund. And that was just I can't even put it into words. It's undescribable, their shock and their awe and their gratitude. And I don't think there was a dry eye in the house. Even now, talking about it, I get emotional.
Yeah, and I think what it does, it's so interesting, because owning a business, when I owned several businesses, look, you want to make a difference. You want to give back. You want to do things. And I used to feel like if I'm writing a check, and there's nothing wrong with these big nonprofits, but my feeling was, when I write a check and I donate that money, I feel like it goes in some river and I never see the effect of it. Definitely. And I also felt like I was robbing the rest of my team in feeling the effect of it as well. So it's the idea that what sits well with me is that if we can take an individual and we can make a significant positive impact in the life of that person, while at the same time giving everybody in the business an opportunity to pitch in and help make that difference, I think it does great things for culture. Every year doing Baths for the Brave, people would fight over each other as to who's going to volunteer to help with the install, right? It's crazy.
Yeah. It is. And we even have folks as inside the business that work in the contact center that are the sales folks, to be able to say the contact center person, hey, I was the one that first spoke with you on the phone when you said that you needed a bath and you set an appointment with us. And the salesperson coming in and saying, I was the person that recognized that you would be an amazing recipient for this gift that you so well deserve. And every single part of your business is involved. So exactly like you said, it's a team effort, and everyone really feels that impact.
Yeah, and sadly, there's no shortage of need out there, right? There's no shortage of people that have served our country proudly and are afraid to take a shower in their own home. And again, it's unacceptable. I think that some people wonder, well, gee, if I join, if I participate, we'll give them the logo to use, we'll give them the language to use, we'll give them how to find a veteran. And one of my favorite ways of finding a veteran is when salespeople are out running appointments, right? And maybe you run across a veteran that wants to do a shower, maybe you can't get them approved for financing or they can't afford something. If you can have your salespeople actually nominate a veteran to it's another way to get everybody to participate, because when you can give somebody a free shower, it changes their world.
Yeah, that's my absolute favorite too, because then you really get to know who they are and their character and understand if this would even be something that they would be open to. Because what you find a lot is a lot of veterans are very private people. They live in solitude. They might not be as receptive to this. And the worst feeling would be to put someone on the spot to say, hey, we selected you. We don't know anything about you or your character, but we selected you. This way, you really get to understand not only them and what they're comfortable with, but also what their living situations consist of right now. There's so many bath crashes that I think of that the living situation was just unacceptable and so dangerous. And if we didn't have that sales process, we never would have known how extreme the need was.
Yeah. And what's crazy is the media covers these stories like they come out to the home, they interview the veteran, they interview the people crashing, the company doing the crash. Look, I think it's really doing well and doing good. I think that the press alone that you get from it, and not that you're doing it for that reason, this is one of the added benefits. We did, when we would crash baths, we'd figure out what else can we do for that veteran during that day to make that day really special. I remember one year we invited the fire department out, and they came out and they changed all the smoke detector batteries for the veteran the day of the crash, or the marching band came out and performed for another veteran in the street. It's something that the entire community can rally behind. It doesn't just have to benefit the veteran.
Yeah. And you really get to make it whatever level you have the ability to support as the business that is involved. All we ask again is if you participate in this, you just install a great product for someone that's deserving, which you do every single day. And we're giving you all the tools to do this to the best of your abilities. However many levels you want to take it above and beyond, we will support that and we will give you best practices for that as well.
Yeah, we have one company. I think they're going to be doing crashes in 10 states this year. Because they have 10 locations. They're going to do a crash in every location. If you only have one location, that's great. Just do one location. It doesn't matter. It's about making an impact in the life of a veteran. So, we have a form on the Bats for the Brave website, correct?
Yes, we do. If you go to bathtsforthebrave.com and you scroll down, you'll see a button there that says apply to be a partner. Click that, fill out the information. It goes directly to me and my team, and we'll reach out to folks that fill that out, set up a meeting, give them all the information that they need, and start supporting their journey.
Yeah, and look, you don't have to pay anything to be part of this. This is a movement, okay? There's no cost to doing this other than the day of the crash that you take on. But beyond that, it's a good thing for everybody. I think, if I may, one of the greatest challenges with it, if I were to be fully transparent, is so often veterans think they're not worthy of a free shower. Mm-hmm. We talk to these veterans and they're really struggling. Maybe they're an amputee they simply can't even make it to the bathroom, no less step over a bathtub. And their feeling is, I'm not worthy, give it to somebody else. Have you experienced that too yourself?
I got goosebumps as you asked me that, Brian, because one story stands out to me immediately, where this gentleman was actually a double amputee. He had both of his legs amputated after his time in the service. And in order for him to get into the bath, because he didn't have even a chair or a seat, anything he could put himself on, he literally would have to crawl out of his chair, crawl onto the floor of the bathroom, and turn on the shower from sitting on the floor. And when we recognized this, our sales team had gone out to do a demonstration that actually his son had set up for him, because his son was the one that finally said, Dad, you can't keep living like this. We let him know that he was a selected recipient, and he said to me verbatim, I'm no hero. You need to give this to a hero. And I think about this daily, of someone that gave their life to protect our country, someone that had such a severe ailment that they couldn't even sit in their shower comfortably. They had to sit on the floor and they still didn't feel deserving. Yeah. those are the types of people that we're helping, and all of the participants that have agreed to work with us this year are helping and really changing the lives of those folks.
I think that's so fantastic. And I'm really grateful to you for the help that you've been doing in Bats for the Brave, your participation for so many years, but also the real hard work you've been doing to help other companies participate over the past couple of years. It's been spectacular, and I'm very grateful. So thank you.
Well, I'm so grateful for you trusting me with this, Brian. I remember when I first started to work with the Tundraland team, and this was actually one of the selling points that got me to join the team when you were explaining this during my third or fourth round interview with Tundraland. And I could see and feel the passion. And when we made the transition of working with Leaf, one of the conversations that we had is like, how do we continue this legacy and keep it going? And so I'm really proud of us and of your passion and everyone else that's continued to participate, that we are able to not only just have this continue, but also have it grow.
Yeah, it's great. And again, there's nobody better to help everybody with it than you. So thank you. And now I want to shift gears. I want to talk about your business, Sisu Synergy, where you really do help companies tell their own story as a way to differentiate and generate more leads. Is that kind of a fair way to summarize it?
Yeah, I love that. I think I was spoiled working in home improvement originally with Tundraland, because as I worked across different companies and now I work with so many different clients as a fractional CMO, there's not any company that I've seen that invested as much into storytelling and telling the story of the brand and the mission statement and the values like Tundraland did. And I reflect back into our funnel metrics, and I'm going to get a little analytical for a second, but I think of like our set rate. So out of the appointments that we got, how many did we set? And I think of our closing rate. So as how many demonstrations we had, how many did we close? And our set rate was upwards of 35, 40%. It's just unheard of now. Our close rate was in the 50s, 55%. And of course, we had tremendous leaders that were helping us get there on both of those sides. But I also attribute a lot of that, of the trust that we built through storytelling before we even got in the home. And I'm trying to take that same Tundraland knowledge and strategy and implement it into other businesses.
Yeah, that's great. And you do a lot of work with TV campaigns as well. Can we talk about, let's talk about that for a second. How do you work with a company if they say, I'm spending, I think one of the traps is companies spend so much money on lead aggregators that they don't have time, that they're not building their own brand. So they have to spend more money on lead aggregators and they can't get out of that trap. And maybe some of them are thinking about, how do I get on TV? I don't know how to get on TV. Maybe it's expensive. How do you work with those kind of companies?
The one thing that I love for them to look at is how much of a difference would 2 or 3 points make in your close rate? How much of a difference would 2 to 3 points make in your set rate? Because what we've found is investing in TV, of course, it generates leads, it generates interest, but it also generates trust. And so not only does it impact that direct lead source of television, but it lifts everything else.
Yep.
So yes, you will have to make an upfront investment of X amount, but over time, even within a 3-4 month period, it's going to be a no-brainer that you made this investment because everything else rises with it.
I used to believe you didn't need a showroom, and I still am not a fan of necessarily having a showroom. It depends upon the business. But when we started pounding television, all of a sudden we had people walking into our place and like, okay, we got to build a showroom. So it was just, these weren't the people that called. They weren't the people that filled out a lead form. They just wanted to pop on by, and it was a big lead source because of it. And I agree with you. I think television, when done properly, it raises all other marketing sources as well. But there's also a difference between doing it properly and doing it wrong.
100%. I have been reading a lot of studies lately since I've really had my focus be in TV and CTV, because I see the potential as AI rises and people are really looking for a connection. They say that when you're doing a TV spot, the most important thing by 80% of what people remember is messaging and the creative. So it doesn't matter the frequency, it does to a certain extent, but even like the time slots, what really matters is how are you telling the story? Yeah. You can be on primetime TV, but if you're just showing slow, static pan overs, some voiceover just telling a discount, you're not really resonating with people. So what my company really aims to do, exactly like the Tundraland model, we have everything be hyper local. We talk to our call center people, our sales folks, so we understand what people are asking about before we even get in the home, and we address that and make them excited before the demonstration starts. Our focus is really to have people look at our TV spots and say, that relates to me, and therefore that's something that I want to look at and pursue.
So essentially, maybe correct me if I'm wrong here. You meet with the company, you really analyze what they're trying to accomplish. You look at their whole marketing mix. You then talk to their people. If you think TV is the right strategy, you understand the culture of the company, the story they want to tell. But you also help write the script. You help with the production, and you help with placing the spots as well in the best spots for that company. Correct?
Yeah, we do every single thing throughout the entire process. I love that you mentioned buying the spots, because I think that's an area that a lot of people have a lot of gray area on. They're not really sure what type of CPM, which stands for cost per thousand. Don't ask me why, it's an M, but they're not understanding of why that is what it is. If I would say Nielsen's report, they have no idea what I'm talking about. So what we do is we advocate for the customer with the stations of getting them the best possible price, making sure that the right eyeballs are seeing those spots. And not only that they're seeing it one time, but they're seeing it again and again. A lot of the people that I help, Ryan, that come to me and say, we tried TV, Senja, it didn't work. Okay, we don't want to do it again. I ask to see their buys of what the agencies or the networks were giving them in terms of spots. Yeah. And it's spots at 1 o'clock in the morning, spots at 4 p.m., spots at midnight, and they're very sporadic. Yeah. Well, TV, it needs frequency, it needs repetition. And so we make sure that our clients get that repetition also with the right people that want to see that repetition.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because if you don't know how to buy television, a TV station will want to sell you all kinds of stuff, including these broad rotators and all this stuff. And one of the rules in television is if everything clears, you're probably paid too much. Yeah. So it's okay if a couple of spots don't play because of the price that you negotiated, and that's fine. It's called a bounce rate. But anyway, I think the other thing that's important with television is it just simply has to break through the clutter.
Yeah,
you really have to differentiate, and that's why. And that's what I think you do really well, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I mean, what I use is the resources that we have available to us, which is the owner. There's a lot of distrust in our space right now. We have seen really large organizations file for bankruptcy overnight. And so people have that feeling when it comes to contractors of, ooh, I don't know if I want to work with them, or I don't know if I can trust them. So if you put an owner public facing saying, this is me, this is my reputation, my name, my face, and I stand behind my work, people are really receptive to that. And I think that some people think, well, I've never been on camera. I don't know if I can really do this. People like that. They like seeing that you're a real human being behind the organization.
Nothing breaks through clutter better than authenticity.
Definitely. Right? I love that.
Just be real. Just be real. Yeah. You don't have to be polished. You just have to be real. So Senja, how do people get a hold of you? What's the best way to reach out?
They can go to sisusynergy.com, SISU Synergy.com, and fill out one of my forms saying that they'd like to partner or work with me. They can also email me at Senja, SENJA, at sisusynergy.com, and I would love to help them. I have had a lot of folks express interest in other ventures that we have, like fractional CMO work, but right now we're just seeing such a great response from our TV campaigns that we're doing that we really want to run with this while the time of AI is coming up and we want to be real. So right now, that's how we're supporting folks. But outside of TV, they can, of course, email me about Baths for the Brave, and I would love to help them with either direction. Yeah.
So go to bathtsforthebrave.com if you want to participate this year. If you want to really take your TV to a next level, reach out to Senja. And if you didn't catch her number, if you know me, just shoot me a message. I'll share her contact information with you. Senja, I'm really grateful you joined us today. Thank you so much. And again, I really appreciate what you're doing for the veterans this year. You're a difference maker. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, Brian. And one last thing, if I can leave everyone with a message, I think that this is going to be our most impactful, our most memorable, our most important Baths for the Brave year yet, because we are having such a great response across the entire board. And I truly think that we're on the road to get all 50 states.
Yay.
Someone wants to be a part of, honestly, a legendary year in Baths for the Brave. I highly recommend that they reach out to us so that we can get them a part of that.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Senja. And thank you, everybody, for joining us on TruCoach. And be sure to like us on YouTube or wherever you watch your podcasts. And I appreciate you, and see you next time.
You've been tapped into the TruCoach Podcast from TruVolve. Home improvement and home services experts helping professionals like you get better results faster. Subscribe and follow on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts for more expert insights. From digital marketing to business coaching, TruVolve is dedicated to helping your business grow. Learn more and have your light bulb moment at TruVolve.com.